So what's happening to this? What is this? Oh.
It was blurry.
Yeah, it was.
You like?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Real life.
Sweet action. What's up?
Something in my
Should I turn
eyeball.
that on?
What? What is that?
Doesn't that make it too like? Oh, what is that actually?
What is it?
That glare.
Oh,
You see
that's
that?
an angel.
Oh wow, now there's a rainbow. Oh, that's good. Okay.
I don't know what that is.
What's up, guys?
Oh, wow. That's right in my ear. You changed your shirt.
I did that one. I didn't want you to smell me the whole time.
Oh,
I've worn that shirt for 6-7 days.
that's such a
All day,
lie.
and I sweat a lot today, so
That is such a lie.
I stunk though.
Probably. What's going on with my hair?
We both have some good
Has
hair
it looked like
stuff
this
going
all
on.
day? What is
No,
this?
it
It's
looked
like I got a
worse
crimper
earlier.
and just did that one part.
Yeah, it looked worse earlier. It's flattened out a little bit.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Wow.
What's up, guys?
So, welcome to Online Steps to Success.
Welcome.
You're getting both of us tonight because it's our anniversary.
It is
14 years
14.
hitched. I was going to say knocked up, but that's
Yeah.
the wrong thing.
You've been knocked up for most of it.
A lot of
That's what
it.
it feels like. Yeah.
Not now.
No.
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 Mm-mm.
No, that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Well, almost.
Yeah. It's in the port,
Yeah.
waiting.
So,
Maybe.
if you're new, welcome. We're glad that you're
Hi,
here.
guys.
You have found yourself.
Don't leave yet. Yeah, I know we're
Don't
weird.
Don't
but
leave yet. You found yourself at Online Steps to Success. This is our every Tuesday night live training. Apparently every Tuesday, even on our anniversary.
Yeah.
Where we help you dream bigger dreams, work smarter, not harder, and help your business be a blessing to your family and your life. So tonight, we're broadcasting from Edmond, Oklahoma in our very own office on YouTube and on Facebook. So we're in two places
At once.
at one time. So tonight we want to talk about something pretty exciting. Oh, apparently H&O we're on live right now too.
I'll be back watching. I didn't know.
Oh, it's the end of the month.
Oh.
I'm like, what are they doing?
Oh,
It's the end of the
don't
month.
watch this if you need to go watch that. They're way more entertaining than we are.
They're doing end of the month video.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. It is the end of the month.
It
Our
is.
anniversary always falls in the end of the month. Isn't that weird?
Well, yeah, every year, babe. Sorry.
Interesting.
Next year, we're going to be at Cincy Family Reunion on our anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's
Do you know in
late.
the year 46 BC, there were 454 days because they were trying to even out the calendar?
What do you mean even out the calendar?
Well, apparently something had gotten messed up and there were 454 days. I think, winter had gotten into summer. Anyway.
I love it. I'll watch it later. I'm trying to earn an instant trip to Mexico. Heck yes, you are. So we have a short online steps tonight. Oh crap, my computer's gonna die.
Oh,
Oh wait, there's a plug right
snap.
here.
Yep.
Well, it's not gonna die. That was very dramatic, but
I wonder where our 11-year-old gets that from.
whoop, whoop.
Oh, you put it.
Okay. So I am excited. Tonight we're gonna talk about something that we probably haven't ever told this whole story.
Oh, are we telling the whole story?
We're gonna tell a story tonight.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I will.
I will say your hair looks really good on YouTube,
I know.
not on Facebook.
Isn't that weird?
I mean, you always look good, but
Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
We're so glad y'all are here. Let's get started. By the way, my name's Allison Dalkey. This is my husband, Brian.
what up?
We do Cincy full time. We've been doing it for 10 and a half years, almost 11. And please see the income disclosure statement. Okay, great. If anybody wants to link
Did you
that,
attach it? Yeah, somebody link that.
I
please.
will.
I'll never get in trouble for that. That would be a bummer.
Oh, Connor loves your R2D2 mug.
Peter burp. Peter. That's Connor knows what that
That's true. It'll be Cincy's 15 year next year and ours.
means.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
All right, so tonight we're going to talk about, we're going to kind of tell you the story of our marriage through the Cincy world. So why is this valuable to you? It is, I promise. Even if you're not married, I think it's important for you to understand what somebody owning a small business can do to a marriage, but also how good it can be. So that was a hint. There's bad and there's good.
Mhm.
And we're going to talk about both tonight. So we're going to try to be brief. We're not going to do our full training tonight, but we do want to share with you basically how we almost let Cincy kind of get in the way of our marriage, and then how we used it to fix our marriage too. So, good?
What?
That's good?
That's good. I'm sorry. Our kids are all still awake. Usually it's that time of summer when, the sun's out a lot later. So we left our 11-year-old in charge. So I'm just listening for, if you're a parent, you know how you can tell the difference between the pain scream and the I'm annoyed with my brother or sister scream.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of on alert right now. But yes, that all sounded really great.
Yeah.
You didn't see that, did you?
Yeah, I did. That's pretty much our marriage. I have no idea what she just said.
Smile and nod. Yes, honey.
Okay,
You
so
are beautiful.
I'm going to give you the brief of it. When I started selling Cincy, we've been married for, do the math. That's what your job is.
Oh, what?
Do the math. When I started selling Cincy, we have been married for
3 years, 5 months.
Okay, 3 years. We had a 9-month-old little girl. He was working in Highline car sales, very late hours. I was working full-time teaching school. I taught 8th grade English, and we had a lot on our plate. I wanted to quit my job. I started Cincy with the intent to build my business up to quit my job. And I was able to do that. But what happened was, in the process, is I was putting a lot of time and effort into my business. So late nights. And what would happen is I would be home with the baby sometimes by myself because he would be at work doing car deals. And that's just the way the business is. And so he would be late with a customer or whatever, trying to do a deal. And it would just give me time to work. Well, when he got home at a normal time, I wasn't like taking time off of what I was doing to like be like, hey, not that I wasn't talking to him, but I wasn't like making separate time for him, right? Would you say that's true?
Yes.
Did you have anything to add?
No, I was just going to say that the dream that I signed up for would be coming home to my wife.
He tries to sell me this
with
dream
dinner on
every
the table,
day.
In her French maid costume, because that's what you wear when you clean the house when your husband's away working, right? Right?
Obviously.
I think she sold me this dream prior to us getting married.
So why?
Didn't happen. But I'm still here.
That's the whole dream?
That was my dream.
I'm asking. That's it, or is there more to it?
How can this is PG?
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't want to know that. But.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary to you too, Tony and Rachel Cobb.
It is their anniversary today too. Yes, that's right. What are y'all doing watching this? Why aren't you off having a lovely dinner? Oh wait, you got a bunch of kids too. So
that's right.
Jacqueline did say today, "Are you serious, guys? Why didn't you call me? I would have totally watched the kids. Y'all could have gone." It's just been such a crazy week. Like, it's fine. So,
anyways, back to my story.
Fly.
Yeah, go get the gun, please.
Salt gun. Come on.
There's like 3 of them. Come on. So, that's what was happening. And then even when I quit my job, so let's fast forward a little bit. I wasn't being the best wife in the world, but I didn't know that I wasn't being a good wife. Like, and don't take that good wife. That's not what I mean. But you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't giving him the attention that he needed. Because you know how it is. Like, you get wrapped up in the Cincy, you're doing it right now. Like, you get wrapped up in the Cincy world and you're helping your team and you're training and you're whatever, working, right? And so even when he was home, sometimes I would stay up working late because I was kind of a night owl. And I knew when I was working full time, like that was the time I could get stuff done. And babe, it's in the pantry. Yeah, there's a huge spider web on that reef. I don't like that. Anyways. And so that was a struggle. And I didn't know it was such a struggle. Then when I quit my job, I was home during the day, but I had a really hard time getting anything done because I had a 9-month-old. I got pretty good at time management in terms of like really scheduling time for Cincy because I considered it being work, right?
Why is it in the pantry? Oh, it didn't work.
Didn't work. You can't scare me.
Okay. She about dropped our baby today.
He scared me twice today. So anyways, I did a little bit better when I was working from home even with the baby, because I was kind of blocking out some time, but I was still working at night when he would get home, or even he would go to bed and I would work still. I would stay up late, right? Which I don't recommend.
Nothing sexier than getting home and your wife's in bed in her sweatsuit with her laptop on. It's good for your marriage.
That's so funny. Anyways, so
I'm joking, by the way.
All of this is happening. It's not an issue per se.
Melfish, I was done too.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
It wasn't necessarily an issue then, but it slowly, and that's how issues start, right? Is they slowly start to snowball into bigger things. So around that time, did you quit your job before we moved to the second house?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So in the middle of all this, we get pregnant with another baby. We, what's the next thing that we do? Buy a house that we think is the dream house. We thought we're making great money with Cincy. And at the time we were making more money than we had ever made. He was still making really great money at the car lot. But now I was making really, really good money too. And
see income disclosure statement.
Yeah. But it was, I will say, the time that we kind of thought we were, like the first time we were like, oh, look at that. We've made it. We'd paid off our credit card debt. We bought this house. We bought a boat. What else did we do?
Bought a Jeep.
We bought a Jeep.
Third car, you know.
Yeah. We were kind of like
we were
living the life, quote unquote, you know.
Right.
But
all the things we thought we wanted.
All the things we thought we wanted. But what we realized is
did y'all see these ones? We
kind of wanted different things, and the money that we were making was really driving us apart even more so. So already I haven't really been giving him the attention, the time he needs.
So move.
And then
got him.
And then we start making more money. We're both kind of getting our fix in other ways, like in terms of like, I could now go shop and I didn't have to worry about it. And
I thought you were about to say you had like a side piece.
Babe.
I'm kidding. You're like, we were both meeting our needs in other ways. I was like,
no, that's not what I meant.
It's not a good way to tell me this. Okay.
No. Happy anniversary. That's old news.
Okay. Yeah. It was 8 years ago. Whatever. No. Yeah.
Anyways,
don't recommend that.
That's not true. But we just kind of let this success of everything. Thank you. Oh, I don't know what that is. I thought it was income disclosure statement. It's not. Whatever it is.
Who's posting their links on here?
No, that's not it.
Yeah, Caitlin, that is what it sounded like. Huh?
No, but it just got really hard on our marriage, and we weren't really making time for each other, and we were not on the same page. So we weren't dreaming together. We weren't giving each other the time that we needed.
And we found out that filling your life full of a bunch of stuff just kind of drives you apart even more. Yeah. So we bought this boat. We both always wanted a boat. She kind of had a boat growing up. We buy this incredible boat. It was awesome. It was like a double motored big jet boat with, it was awesome. But what we figured out was it takes a day to get a boat ready. When you have little kids, the longest thing to be on the water is 4 or 5 hours. Then they're cranky screaming. So mom's got to take them home. Then dad has to get the boat out. And then it takes another day to clean the boat and get everything out and put everything away. So it was a 3-day ordeal to have 4 or 5 hours of what I don't think anybody in the right mind would consider fun, because you've got 4 kids that are screaming and they're mad at life and they're wondering why you're attempting to drown them. Hint, teach them how to swim. And it just wasn't, between that and all the other things we were purchasing and buying, it was driving us apart.
Yeah, and not just that, there were other things too. I think I had hit my goal in my business, which was that I wanted to quit my job. And that was the first goal, and it was the only goal really for me for a long time. And then that happened. Then all of a sudden we have 2 kids, we're living in this house, we have this boat, we're making more money than we've ever made in our lives, and we weren't happy. And I remember so vividly sitting on
we were the least happy we had ever been. It's not just that we weren't happy. We had some ups and downs before then.
We were the least happy we had ever been.
We were miserable.
You should join our team. This was great. But I remember sitting on the back porch of that house one night, and it wasn't like we were fighting a lot. It was just we were almost living 2 different lives, and not on purpose, like just kind of on accident. I was doing this.
You know that place where like you get home, your wife's on her phone, she's texting somebody or posting something or something, and you have no idea what she's doing, and you don't even really care to ask because you don't even want to hear about it because you've got your own stuff. And then you do the same thing. You're on your phone. She doesn't really ask. And then at some point you go to bed and there's this obligation that you probably shouldn't have sex, but whatever. I'm like not really in love with the person right now, but whatever. I mean, there's just all of that. Like we were living in that, right?
We were living.
Have y'all ever been there? You know what I'm saying?
We were living in that, and we just weren't. Yeah, it was like we lost our
communicating well.
Yeah, we lost our friendship for sure.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting on the back porch of that house one day, and I only ever thought this one time, but I remember it so vividly. I think it was kind of a turning point for us when I really felt like I don't want to do this anymore. Like I don't want to live like this. Like it wasn't that I thought I want a divorce. It was that I don't want this life. Like this isn't what I signed up for, and I thought that it was. Like it's like it was everything I thought we had ever wanted. And it just wasn't. And
because we didn't know better, and it was because we were kind of at the beginning of this whole social media world, on the outside looking in, you probably thought we had a great life. Like we had a nice house and stuff and our cute kids. And, it just seemed like we probably had, and we heard that from people all the time. Like, oh, you guys are just so lucky. You guys are so lucky. And of course, what do we do as fake people that aren't on the outside what we are on the inside? We're sitting there going, yeah, we're so blessed. We're so blessed. And then we're coming home and I'm like, she's such a pain in my ass. Like, why do people sign up to get on her team? Or she gives all her energy to them and they love her. And then she comes back and I get all the used up crap,
And that's true too.
That's
very true. I was definitely in a place where I was giving everything that I had emotionally to my kids and my Cincy team, period.
Are people posting?
They're posting
income disclosure. Okay, we appreciate that.
Which I very much appreciate. So everything I had was going to other people and not to him. And I don't even know, would you say, like, what was the biggest, can you identify like a place that was a huge shift for us? I think that leadership in Punta Cana was huge for us.
That one was big. There were a few. I don't know that it was
so let me
just one thing.
Like,
I can point to a few.
The beginning of Cincy was hard in our marriage, not because of Cincy, but because of me. Because I didn't.
All her.
Yeah, right. You take your credit too. It was just I didn't understand that he had to be first always, and I didn't put him there. So yeah, it was hard. But I will say, there was a turning point for us, and a lot of it was, well, I just said there wasn't like an exact one, didn't I? But I think Cincy also brought us to a place where I think our marriage is better because of Cincy. I remember the first time we went on a trip together and we had to leave our kids. And I remember thinking, I can't do this. Like, I cannot leave them with somebody else. I don't even remember who we left him with at the time, like if it was my mom or like, I don't remember. But the whole point was and I know whoever it was, I'm sure we overly trusted them. But I just remember thinking.
I do remember she made like a 2-page list of every possible scenario and who to call and what to do.
It was very detailed.
Insurance cards and yes.
But I just remember thinking.
Now we just kind of hand them off.
All right, see y'all later. But I just remember thinking, I can't do this. Like, I can't leave them. And I felt guilty as a mom. And I just felt like, I just can't do this. We did, because we earned a free trip. It wasn't Canada. We went to Canada together.
With a child.
But we took Luke.
Yeah,
he was
Luke was 3 weeks old.
No, he was 3 months old.
3 months old.
So we took Luke at 3 months old. So this was like after all that. But we started going to leadership together. Mm-hmm. We started going to. Well,
previous to that, I quit my job.
Yes.
Because I was kind of miserable at work. I was making good money, but I had lost that edge of like, I have to do this. I remember I used to have like a really good month in the car business, and I would come home and be like, oh my gosh, babe, I sold 3 cars today or whatever. We're going to make X amount of dollars. And she would like praise me because of it. Like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. That whole, like, I'm killing something, dragging it home, feeding my family, the whole, God created us to be that way. And as she started making really good money with Cincy, not that she resented my job, but there wasn't that excitement anymore. Like, hey babe, I made $3,000 on this big car deal today. She was like, oh, cool. Like, there wasn't that, because to her, and not all women are this way, but what I found, like with her, she just wants to make sure that we're okay. And then it's all about quality time and being together and all of that. Where for me, it was like I was trying to mark all these boxes of success, make money, do this, dominate, be the best, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And she didn't care about that just as long as our needs were met. Where before I was meeting those needs through my success. Now my success was sometimes just causing us to be apart more.
Yeah.
So this was that backwards resentment that I didn't even realize was going on because I was super excited.
I was also resenting him at the same time. So he was making great money, but it got to the point where I was making as much money as he was, if not more, before he quit.
Before I quit, yeah.
And I was doing it with 2 babies at home, and I was frustrated because I didn't have help for a long time. I didn't have anybody else coming in to help me. And so I was trying to juggle this very successful business that I was treating like a business, but I wasn't looking at in the lens of like, you cannot do it all by yourself. And so, but I was becoming resentful because I was making great money, but I was busting my tail to do it. And I felt like I had to work at night, like I had to do all these things because I was also home during the day with 2 babes. And so it was hard. But I think the biggest shift for us was traveling together. And I have only Cincy to credit for that because we kept earning trips and we kept earning trips for 2. And you don't turn down a free trip for 2 if you can help it. And at that time he had quit his job, and
with the premise of I was going to quit my job for 6 months, take a 6-month, what do you call it, like sabbatical, hiatus, whatever, and figure out what I wanted to do because money now was to the point where we paid off our debt. We were a little more secure, and I was going to have some time. And I can go back to the car business at any point. I'd worked in it for 7 or 8 years. I had a lot of connections. I wasn't worried about job stability if I needed to jump back into it. So I took a 6-month break. 5.5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm still on my 6-month break. But what we figured out really early on was there were some things in her business. She was running full ahead, full on, I'm going to make this work. But there were some things that she needed to clean up. My fault was I came in day one saying, I have no idea how you're running a successful business. Your follow-up system sucks. Your customer service is awful, blah, 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 blah. And she kind of looked at me and was like, okay, excuse me. If you want to have anything to do with this, you need to change your attitude a little bit. I'm doing this on my own. I've gotten it to where it was on my own. Check yourself. And so I did a little bit, but it honestly took 6 months of us just doing this.
Yeah.
Before I realized that there's some things she's really good at and she realized there's some things I'm good at. And so I remember us having conversations. We would make lists of all the things we had to do that week.
Yeah.
And we would just go through them and I would be like, I can do that. And she would say, okay, great. I hate doing that. And she would say, okay, I can do that. And I would say, oh my God, thank God. Because if I have to write one more email,
but you also
speaking like a woman to a woman, I can't do it anymore. Okay. So yeah, that was some of the turning point.
You have good skills, babe. That's great. Not a lot of people.
Do you want to tell a story about that time you started getting emails that people thought you were mad at them?
Yes. Brian took over my emails for a while. So this was back when people emailed a lot. Like it would be like him taking over my text.
2000, honestly, the 2009 transition might have saved our marriage.
The 2009 transition was hell. And what it was we changed.
I was still working.
For those of you that were around, what we did was we changed our entire workstation. We shifted from an old software system to something new. Yeah. And it was.
Now, here was the issue.
And we had back orders out the freaking wazoo.
When they were transitioning over. Is
that when we opened Canada too?
Yes,
2009. It was a crap storm.
So what happened when they started figuring out that we needed to change workstation, we had a workstation that was going to be able to support X amount of consultants. Well, when they bought that workstation or started with that back in 2004 or 5, whenever it was plenty. I mean, they were like, if we ever get to that point where we need to change it, then we're mega successful. It'll be great. We'll worry about it then. Well, since he grew really fast, had that tornado phase, 07, 08, 09, 2009, it's coming so fast. Quick. So they jumped in with this system that was going to be a perfect fix. The problem was they had to move it forward so fast. This was in September, October,
like
during
fall.
One of the busiest seasons. And we added Canada and we added a whole bunch of other consultants from when they decided to do it to when they implemented it. And guys, if you weren't in 2009, those of you that work can comment.
And those of you that were, like, you have such perspective on like our shipping now.
Yeah. Like when something goes on back order for a week, we're like, okay. All right,
there
it's
was
not
a
6
time
months.
when there were warmers on back order that they said it was like people were ordering for Christmas.
Is that the jack-o'-lantern warmer?
Jack-o'-lantern was part of it.
Came in like January and February.
Yes.
And it was on sale in September.
Yes. And this is what Cincy did.
Yeah, Kaylin joined us.
Everyone's getting a free warmer Okay, so the warmer that you ordered is not going to be in until after Christmas.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we're going to give you a free warmer.
Yeah. So they basically went back to all the things they had stuck in the warehouse that didn't sell well, and they were shipping out, which was awesome. Like,
no, it was above and beyond.
It was way above and beyond to send a whole warmer to people, and they were still going to get their other warmer. But it was just crazy. But what it did, Allie and I kind of had to – you guys know how sometimes when you have to go into like put your head down survival mode, you don't have the energy to be mad at each other. So you just get together, you're a team, and it forces you to work together.
Yeah.
Well, we had, you know, I don't know, 1,000 people or 1,200 people that were relying on us for help.
Well, the problem was our consultant support staff wasn't big enough to make calls of back order status and workstation problems.
So sometimes you might have to wait on hold for 3 hours.
Yeah, so people would wait on hold.
So what we told people was email us all your issues with your order number and what the issue is. I'll wait on hold for 3.5 hours, and then I'll knock all of them out. And so there were days we would do 120 to 200.
We did it for a whole deadline.
Incredible consultant.
Christy
Wolf. I know she's not watching
there
right
anymore.
Now, but she was amazing.
But shout out to Christy Wolf. If you don't follow her, she has a Hobbit house.
Yep, in Wyoming.
I don't know. She has
Montana, Wyoming.
An amazing tree house, all Airbnb.
In Hawaii.
She's phenomenal.
She was on a show the other day, some television show.
Random.
She's incredible.
Anyway. Christy Wolf.
But during that time, let's get back on focus.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Back on task. So during that time, we accidentally it happened, but we told everybody, hey, if you have issues, send them to us. I'm going to be on hold anyway, because we were ordering enough that I had to call every few days. What we didn't realize was it was going to take so much off people's plate because people were working full time.
Yeah,
and so people would send us order after order. So all of a sudden we went from doing 10 or 15 a day to doing sometimes 120 to 200. What's funny is consultant support at the time, they would rank the consultant support staff by how long their average call was. So if they could knock out problems 45 seconds at a time or a minute and a half at a time, they were doing really well.
Yeah.
Well, Christy Wolf was so incredible, and she was like, hey, this is most of the time is going to be horrible, but I'll stay on the phone with you the whole time. So we can knock out like 200 of them. Our phone time might be 2 hours, 120 minutes, but she was averaging per problem solved way less, but that's not how they scaled it at the time. So in the first couple of weeks, she got into a lot of trouble. We actually ended up having to talk to someone at consultant support, like one of the head people, tell her what she's doing. And then they're like, hey, this is so great. We're just going to have her call you at a set time every week. And so we ended up doing that. She would call us, we would knock it out for 2 hours and then go. And it honestly is one of the reasons that our business became what it has become, because we had a lot of people that maybe would have fallen through the cracks that made it through. But in that, I kind of felt needed and valued.
Yeah.
Right. So because I hadn't quit my job yet, or maybe I had. No, we were doing all my days off. That's what it was. But I figured out that there was something I could do in the business. After that, I took over Allie's emails, which was a mistake because I didn't realize, being a guy in the business world, if somebody emails me a problem, I can usually knock it out in a sentence or two, like, hey, I got your email. I'll get on it right now. Have a great day. Or I got your email. Go to page 92. It's under section 7. Read that. Fill it out. You'll be good to go. Or on contracts really quick, right? Well, we would get questions from all of you wonderful Scentsy women, and it might say like, oh my gosh, my downline and I are having an issue, blah, blah, blah. And I would say, you know what? Handle this like a business. It's not personal. Tell her you're her sponsor and she needs to get over herself and just let things roll. That's not okay in the Scentsy world. And so Allie started getting emails like, oh my gosh, are you mad at me? What did I do to upset you? Like, you really were in that email. And so Allie started seeing these emails. She said, what the heck are you doing? I said, what are you talking about? I'm knocking problems out left and right. And she's like, so she started going back and reading, and she goes, babe, you cannot reply to people like that. And I go, how am I supposed to reply? And she's like, first, I'm so sorry that you're struggling with this. This is such a big deal, and I am so sorry. And then she would kind of solve the problem over 2 paragraphs, and I knocked out 3 sentences. And I was like, that is so inefficient, but
so I will tell you, he is the one that has really helped me make my business way more efficient. He makes me question everything. And in the beginning, I hated it. I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. No, this works. It works this way. I'm going to do it. And he really
She's so stubborn, y'all.
As are you. I would listen and be like, okay, I get it. Like, we can do this smarter. We can be more efficient. We can make more money.
No, you're good. You keep going. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
I'm so smart. All that.
Yeah, you're so smart.
What?
Y'all, I'm going to try really loud. I want to sit over here.
Why?
I don't know. Because look, I look good on this side.
We've got on every side.
Oh, thanks, babe.
All the sides.
Anyway, so let's get back to what we were talking about.
Okay. What were we talking about?
I don't even know. We got off track. How did Cincy help us be better at our marriage?
There
Let's
we
talk
go.
about that.
Okay. How did it?
So through trial, we learned how to work together. But
don't you think, looking back, isn't it funny how God kind of ordains little pieces, like through the struggle and the strife, and the 2009 could have been a disaster. It ended up helping our marriage and helping our business. So I think sometimes throughout all of it, we prayerfully sought the Lord, I think, no matter what we were going through.
Yeah.
I got a little something in my beard.
No. But I think the biggest shift in our
mustache.
I will pop you.
I'm kidding. She does not have a mustache.
Yeah, I do. I shave it off. I don't have time for that crap. I am absolutely Italian.
But I think through all of that, we didn't realize the path God was taking us on.
Yeah.
And I don't think we sometimes see that. We're a little short-sighted as earthlings sometimes. But
we also learned how to, I think, since he taught us how to celebrate well, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like, they're so good at, like, celebrating wins and recognizing things. And
I never really thought about it like that.
I do. I really think that.
No, but I mean, I think that.
Yeah, you just never thought
I just never thought about it. Because honestly, do we ever really take time to just stop? And since he forces you to do that with incentive trips, and so those were times we didn't really have it. I mean, if someone gives you a free trip to Mexico or Canada or wherever, you're going to go on it because it's a free trip, where you might not normally. Like, sometimes we're taking a trip with our kids next week, a little beach vacation, and we kind of are shortening it all down to 5 days because we're renovating our house. We have all this other stuff going on. Were you getting something?
I need some fingernail clippers.
Oh, for you. Okay. I thought you were like going to try to get something out of my beard or something. So being a Cincy consultant, I think, kind of forces you to wow. You guys don't understand how great this is for her. She never is able to scare me. That didn't even really, I mean, I guess it startled me, but if I'd had your reaction, you would have been on the floor screaming.
I felt like I was shooting at your head.
Let me see that thing.
No, it's very scary.
I'm not going to shoot it. I just want to see it.
Right.
It looks like a gun.
I know. It does look like a gun, and it's very loud. Don't
I'm not
shoot it at my face.
No, let's put that on safety mode.
It's gold confetti up in here.
No, good night. That's what we have to deal with.
That's what I wanted.
Did you want me to scream? That's what you would have done.
Was that a boom?
No, that was a door.
Okay, great.
All right, it's fine. Our kids might be okay. They might not. I don't know. What was I talking about?
I'm amused with myself. I have no idea what you're talking about. You didn't know I was going to do that?
I really didn't. I thought you were messing with your nails. You have been messing with your fingernail polish.
I know. I have a hanger.
Okay. Before I was so rudely interrupted.
Yeah, you deserve that.
I know. I wish it had scared me more.
Exactly.
I wish you would have felt really like.
Yes.
You know.
No, yeah. I mean.
Because it's so easy to scare her, guys. She was walking in our front door today, and we have almost like our door, you can't see it through from the outside, but you can the inside. So like when the UPS guy's coming up, I can see him coming. I open the door right when he gets there, and it always freaks him out. And so she's walking up, and she has the baby, like Lucy, in her hands. So she goes to like kick the door to knock or do whatever, and I open it and just go, "Welcome to our home." And she goes, "Ah!" and like almost threw the baby. So I'm glad she didn't. That'd have been bad. But
I'm gonna get you so good one day.
You should. I'm ready for it. No, I mean, like, I don't want to be ready for it, but I'm ready to, like, because if I scream and go down like you do.
What are you going to do when you get scared?
I don't know. I mean.
I'm afraid. You know why I don't scare you? I'm afraid you're, like, going to punch me or something.
Y'all know, like, 10% of the population. You know the whole fight or flight thing? So most people are wired to, like, scream and fall down. Well, there is, like, 10% of the population. If y'all ever see those videos where, like, a dude's hiding in a dumpster on a busy street, and then he, like, jumps out and scares somebody, about every 10th or 15th person goes, boom, and just hits them. So you always got to stay at least an arm's length away when you scare somebody.
Your fist was so close to my face just then.
I have a really good spatial reasoning.
Okay.
Why do you think I'm so good at the towel thing? With like popping towels?
That was so rude.
All right.
Anyways.
We're getting off track here, guys.
We told you about how since he almost killed our marriage, it wasn't since it was me, but you understand what I'm saying. I will say if you're in that place or you feel like you're in that place or you know that your marriage needs work, you have to get away. That's what I love about Cincy is we're ending an incentive season right now that some of you are earning to go to Mexico, which is amazing.
Yep.
If you haven't earned your spouse, buy them in. Like if you can make it happen, earn the extra income, buy them in.
Especially if you're a couple that hasn't gotten away in a long time.
Yes.
It is so incredible. Now, here's the thing about incentive trips. They are amazing, and you are going to be there with other Cincy consultants, and it's a great time to network and figure out what works for people and what doesn't.
But honestly, that's not why we go.
Don't ever forget that you're there with your spouse.
Yeah. And
you need to be there for your spouse.
I mean, here's the thing. I love every single one of you. ESPN has an update.
ESPN, it's important. Hang on. Please hold.
Welcome, Alex. I love you all, but if we're not good, I can't be my best. And so if we go to an incentive trip and we're feeling like we need time together, we're going to take our time together. And, you know, it may mean we're not as social and we're not as cool as everybody else, and we don't care. Like, what matters is that we're giving each other the time that we deserve, because long after we know you all or we know anybody else involved in this business, the two of us will be together. And that's really what matters in the big picture of things. So we always have to look at it like that. And to us, every incentive trip is that. It is time for he and I to be without our kids. It's that time when, like, we remember what it really is like. Like, I look at him like, I really do like you. Like, you know, I love you always.
No, I know.
But I'm like, you know, it's day to day.
But that's what it is. You know how you go through times in your marriage where you always love your spouse. There's times you don't like them.
Yeah. So it's like,
I don't think I've ever had that with you. You've always had that with me.
You're so full of crap.
But all that to say, find time to get away.
Yeah.
It's so important. And even if it's not, if you don't earn the incentive trip, some of our best getaways were, there's a place, so we live in Oklahoma, flat, middle of nowhere, there's nothing going on, but we can drive about 4 hours away and get into the kind of mountains and hills and lakes. There's a place that we've gone to multiple times that we've just done 2 and 3 day getaways. We rent a cabin in the woods. Neither one of us has good cell phone reception. The Wi-Fi is crappy, and it forces us to get a pen and paper, look at each other across the dinner table, and write down our hopes and our dreams and where we want to give and what we want to do and the legacy we want to leave.
What we're working for.
Versus sometimes we get so involved in the day-to-day grind, and you get so, you know how when you look at your phone for about 5 or 10 minutes and then you look up to see the TV, how it's blurry for a little while? Well, I think sometimes that's what happens to us in life. We're so short-sighted because we're looking at today's sales and tomorrow's deliveries and this weekend's parties and all of those things that we don't look up and look at our family and the legacy we want to leave long-term. And it takes a while for your eyes to refocus. And that's what we're able to do when we get away. We get away from the regular, the day-to-day, the grind, and it takes a day or two. But then after that, you're able to see farther. You're able to see into the future, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and the legacy that you want to leave. And then if you work backwards from that, you start talking about legacy and you start talking about, you know, the things you want our kids to see before they graduate high school and to experience with us, then we really think that that's the way we're able to plan backwards and figure out what we want to do tomorrow and what we want to do next year. So that's that whole, you've got to look up from your phone, let your eyes settle, and then look into the future and figure that out. So that's something that we weren't always good at. And we, because of Cincy, learned to do that. You'll probably hear our 2-year-old crying for mommy back there. That's why I'm here alone. But, you know, so she says, because of Cincy, our marriage was on the rocks. Our marriage was headed that direction because of the path we were on. We were on the day-to-day grind. Everything was about today and tomorrow and next week. And then Cincy, because of their incredible incentive trips that we literally built our business on. You know, in the first 5 or 6 years, we would look at the incentive trip and how to earn it, and then we would work our business that 6 months toward that incentive trip. We still recommend that to people today. If that's you, if you're looking at the incentive trip, I promise you, if you build your business according to the qualifications in the incentive trip, it's a great way to build your business long term. Or we'll give a talk at convention or family reunion. Excuse me. If you build your business around those incentive trips and the qualifications, it's a great way to build your business. And we did that without even really knowing it. I mean, that was our goals. But in getting away, I think we've earned every incentive trip since we've been in. And if you haven't, it's okay. It's never too late to start. Don't feel like that's something, well, I've missed a couple, so I'm not like you guys. No, not at all. It was just something that we really, really focused on. And because of that, it taught us to dream, and it taught us to kind of plan our life backwards. So I told him that I used the reference of, like, how if you're staring at your phone and you look up, it takes you a while for your eyes to like refocus.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of, we get so involved in the day to day, but you've got to like get away and then look back.
Mommy snuggle you.
Mommy snuggle you. Hey, will you say hi to our friends?
Hi, friends.
Can you tell them what your name is?
What's your name?
I
You're
will
Lucy.
see.
Tell them why you're fussy right now. She needs to poop. So this one likes to fight it. She'll go 2 or 3 days, and then she struggles, and it hurts a little bit, and then she's a whole new
Vicious
kid.
cycle.
It's a vicious cycle. Hey, all these people that are watching, they all poop regularly.
Every day.
Every day. If you don't, I apologize for, I don't want you to, I'm not trying to exclude anybody. But yeah, see, Lucy, everybody poops. They poop every day. Will you go poop for us? Will you go poop?
No.
Please. You can't go to sleep before you
Okay,
poop.
I want to give you guys some advice on unsupportive husbands. So first of all, the more information you can give them and the more resources you can point them to show them that this is a legitimate business opportunity, the better.
Leave your guns laying around. She wants it.
Give her a gun.
I unloaded it. All right, you're good.
The other biggest thing is, and I see this and I did this, is that you have to treat it like a business. So if you want your spouse to be supportive of you, show them how much money you're making. Show them what you're doing.
You don't have to have one. She can have that. Just have it.
Mommy's coming.
Mommy's coming in a minute.
Don't close the door. So the more that you can show him that you're being wise with your time, because let's be real, a lot of us are not very good with our time in terms of time management. We say we're working, but what we mean by we're working is we're on social media or we're making connections, right? So it's really important that you have integrity about the work that you're doing and that you are treating your business the way it should be treated, that you're generating a profit, because there's no reason that you shouldn't be if you're doing the work. So that's what's really, really important. Don't do that. It's not going to, you need to.
I'll do it. I'll fix it.
He's messing with the comments. So the other thing I wanted to say, I know he mentioned dreaming stuff, but it's so important that you're on the same page. And so I think like having the same goals for your family. Did you say this?
Kind of, yeah.
So like when we dream together, so much of it is that we're saying this is what we can achieve with our business this year. These are what our goals are for our family, for our life. And just in even ways we want to grow personally and together as a couple. And so when we have that set as a guideline at the beginning of the year and kind of for what we're working towards, it's so much easier for us to be on the same team with everything that we're doing. And yeah, we get off track sometimes, and yeah, we screw up, and yeah, we have disagreements, but it's a lot easier to get back on track when we're working towards the same thing.
And honestly, the biggest piece in that, the biggest success piece in that is when we started to learn to honor each other's time and honor each other's commitment to doing what we're doing. So, and we struggled with this a little bit the last few weeks as far as sitting down, looking at our calendar and saying, okay, you need this time for this, you need this time for that.
Well, we haven't had any childcare help. So childcare issues,
yeah. But
so usually we have help 3 days a week, and that's really when we work the bulk of everything, and we fit everything else in everywhere else. But
lately what's been working is if I have something I need to do, it's almost hurting us now, because we're so like, okay, you need to do X, Y, and Z. You go do that. I'll figure my stuff out later. But then what happens is a week later, I've taken care of everything I needed to. And I'm like, hey, you've got to do all this stuff. Why have you been doing it? Because I've been telling you to do your stuff. Well, I want you to do your stuff too. You just got to communicate. I know, but I wanted you to get your stuff done. But I know. So it's almost like we've gotten too proficient at it, and
Yeah.
now we're sacrificing too much, and then that's causing us to have issues. So there's a balance there.
There is a balance.
But as long as you have that heart of like, I really know you're called to do X, Y, and Z. I want you to do that. Let's make time for it. And then vice versa, then it works out well. But we've swung the pendulum both ways, I think, in that.
We've also begun to understand just so much more about women and men in general, in that women want to be adored and loved, and men want to be recognized and respected. And they want respect first, is what they want. And you ask the majority of men, that's truly what it is. They're hardwired that way. That's how they were created to be. And we want to be adored. We want someone to look at us and say, you are beautiful, and I adore you, and I love you, and I'm proud of you, whatever, right? So we've learned that. And some of that is not natural for us. Like, I am stubborn, strong-willed. I can do stuff by myself. So for me to go out of my way to recognize him or to show him respect, it's not necessarily something I would naturally do. Well, the respect piece is even just things that we've learned.
The respect piece is hard because, so there's a book, Love and Respect, great book. So there's a book called Love and Respect by Dr. Eggerichs, I think is his name. He's done marriage conferences all over the world for the last 20 years about it. But the crazy part about it is, and this will make sense to people, walk into a Hallmark store and try to find a card that says, I respect you. Well, good luck. You can't. But there's a million that say, I love you, I adore you. There's all of those things because our world has shifted to fully understanding that women are the number one consumers. And so most of the products cater to women. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've just had to change the way we do things a little bit. And so, but biblically, women are called to respect their husbands. It doesn't mean that she takes orders from me.
No.
And it doesn't mean that I treat her lesser than or any of that stuff. It just means that sometimes I'll say something in front of our family, in front of our kids, and it's her role or what she feels like her role to let that happen and see that through. And she might pull me aside later and say, hey, you're a little hard on him or whatever. But then I feel respected because she allowed me to have that authority. And then there's times when I let her sleep in, even though I know there's stuff I need help with or whatever, because I want her to feel adored and cared for. And there's days when her hair's crazy, and I tell her she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life and she is, let's be honest, look at her. But she needs to feel that security, that emotional security that I adore her no matter what she thinks she looks like. Or when she's making those negative comments about her butt or her legs or whatever, I have to tell her, babe, they're the best ones I've ever seen in my life. So don't you dare talk bad about them because they're part of mine. You know what I mean? So, oops, sorry. Yeah. So it's kind of a give and take. Whoops, we messed up there we go.
Oops. This is a little bit of a side note, and we're going to close out because I said we weren't going to take an hour and then we did. I was reading through, I wrote notes on when we were on our honeymoon, like notes about what we ate and what we did. And
I don't know how to get that.
It's okay. And, no, it was definitely like this.
I know.
It's okay.
I don't feel like that.
And one of the things says, Brian woke up at 8:30. I woke up at 9:30. Rest of our lives.
But now it's 6:30
from our honeymoon.
For me. It's still 9:30.
That is not true.
Okay, 9:15.
Whatever.
Let's go back.
I was at bar at 9 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I was. And I'm still in my same clothes. It's really far away. So, anyways, our whole entire point of this was to say, look, you have to be careful of where you allow your business to fall in your life. It's very, very easy to let it come before more important things. And I know that sometimes, and some of you are in marriages where you don't feel loved and adored, or vice versa, you don't feel respected.
We've both been there in ours.
You don't wait for the other person to do their part. You do your part first, and then you see what happens. Because most of the time, when we show the opposite sex what they need, they begin to show us what we need back. And that's what's so
Or be
so
open
important.
To asking and hearing what you need.
Yeah, exactly. I think
there's no worse feeling than knowing she's taking care of me fully and feeling taken care of, but then knowing in my heart that I'm not taking care of her the way she needs to be taken care of. And that causes me to change my reaction. So the whole scope of that is treat them how they deserve, even when they don't deserve it. So treat them how you know you're called to treat them, even when they don't deserve it. And it will come back. I'm not going to say it always immediately does, and I'm not going to say that it always does, because maybe you're in an unhealthy spot and it doesn't. But that has to be the way you lead, because then you're doing everything possible.
Yeah.
And it took us a long time to figure that out, and we still struggle with it.
Yeah. And
you don't respect me. Like, I'm kidding. No, we still struggle with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a daily dying to yourself, I think, marriage, and I think it's a daily fight, and I think it's something worth fighting for.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth fighting for the place that you put your spouse. It's easy to put our kids before our spouse. It's easy to put your business before your spouse, but in all reality, they are to go beneath God only, and that's really where you have to check and say, how do I have everybody lined up, and is it in the right order? And am I actually showing that? Am I making that true in my life? The other thing is, I just can't say enough how valuable travel has been to us. Traveling without our kids. We travel with our kids a ton. What Cincy has done is given us a travel bug 100%, 100 million times over. And we love to travel, and we love traveling with our kids. But we also know that it is best for us and our family and our marriage when we go away together without them. And it's hard. It's so hard on a million fronts. Childcare and schedules and everything is hard. But it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely
worth it.
It's the one part of our life that we are willing to, quote unquote, like waste money. Not waste, because it's never a waste, but there are times when you're looking at a trip and you look at your budget and you save for these trips, and then you look at the trip and you're like, oh my gosh, we did a 25-day road trip last summer that was maybe the most incredible thing we've ever done, and it was maybe the hardest thing we've ever done, which, those two things go hand in hand, and it cost us a lot of money.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I mean, it wasn't like tens of thousands of dollars, but in retrospect to what we could spend on a vacation for a week, to go away with our kids, it cost a lot more than that. And it was the one thing she had to remind me a couple times, and then I had to remind her a couple times, it's worth it. Like, it's not a waste. It's worth it. And our kids still talk about certain aspects of it to this day. And I think they will forever. Like, our kids will always remember. Maybe not Lucy. She was a year and a half old, but our older 3 kids will always remember it, because it was life-changing in a lot of ways. Yeah. And it was pretty average stop. Grand Canyon and LA and San Francisco and Boise. Boise was their biggest highlight. Meridian, Idaho, Cincy campus. They got to see all the stuff, and we got spoiled rotten by Cincy. It was awesome, but
I think because they got, Grace babysat them, and they got to swim in Laurel and Heidi's pool.
Yeah, that was a blast.
And play in their house all day.
And play on the big buddies. They still talk about the big buddies. If you've never been to Cincy, to the Commons in Meridian, Idaho, make a plan to get there somehow. You don't even have to it's open. I mean, you can walk in and go and eat in the cafeteria and do all of those things. But the big buddies, so all the buddies that we've ever had, they have in life-size versions that are like 8 feet tall. And our kids just jumped around and played in the buddies for 2 or 3 hours, and they still talk about that. So sometimes I think we feel like we have to do these crazy adventures, and honestly, just take your kids on the road and take them to a couple cool places, and they'll talk about it for the rest of their lives.
Then also travel by yourselves, or just get away.
And travel,
it doesn't even have to be travel.
Couples.
I mean, it can be a hotel in your city that
we
you're staying in by yourself.
Yeah,
we do.
But make sure that when you're away, you're able to get
away.
So one thing we talked about tonight, we obviously didn't get away. We had Taco Tuesday with our kids tonight at home. Multiple people, my sister for one, and a couple other people. Oh my gosh, why didn't you tell me? We would have totally came and sat the kids, and y'all could have gotten away. Really, we know when we're in the right mindset to be able to get away and truly be away. Right now, with our home being renovated and traveling next week, and we traveled a week and a half ago and all this other stuff, we knew we just weren't in the right mindset. We could have gone and gotten a hotel and gotten away for the night, but I don't know that it would have been any more healthy than just staying here and being with our babies and, having a normal night. So be aware that when you're away, be away. And it might take a day to get in that groove, but do it and practice it. You'll get better at it, and I promise it's one of the best things you can ever do for your marriage.
So it's our anniversary, and our kids are still awake, and we're going to put them to bed.
Yeah. We are going to put them to bed.
And I'm still in my workout clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, she worked out today. I can verify that.
After shower.
I'm kidding. But we're pretty good about our evenings. Our kids usually go to bed during the school year by 8. Yeah. Some are by 9, so we have 1 minute to get them in bed. But we're pretty good about our evenings. We have fun. What do you got planned? You busy later? Kidding.
I have plans. I have to work.
I wore my sexy underwear. I guess that was a waste. No, I'm kidding. But yeah.
Speaking of underwear, this is how we will close.
Flawless transition.
Oh, I know.
Flawless.
From the dinner table tonight, what I heard was my 5-year-old yelling out of the bathroom in the other room, "Mom, I left my underwear at Jackson's house."
Yeah, so my sister, Jacqueline Roy, you guys know her, the famous Jacqueline Roy. Boys went over there today to play with her kids, or with my nephews. And Wyatt tonight, he'd been home a good hour. And we're at the dinner table, and he goes, "Oh, I got to go to the bathroom." So he runs to the bathroom. And then, 30 seconds later, we hear, "Mom, I left my underwear at Jackson's house." And all the kids just started busting up laughing. And we're like, that's pretty normal.
Because he gets naked to go to the bathroom. So that's why. It's not like he just randomly left. Yeah, right. You wish. That's awkward. Because any chance to see me naked, you wouldn't turn away.
Amen. Women get naked in front of your husbands more for no reason. What was that thing that happened? I don't know, a couple months ago. We needed to have a meeting. So sometimes we have our meetings after our kids go down, like our budget meetings, and sometimes we'll like block 30 or 45 minutes. And I walk into the kitchen and she's topless. And I'm like, "Did you spill something on your shirt? Like, what's going on?" She's like, "No, I just need your attention for this meeting." And I was like, I've been praying for this. No, I'm kidding. But it worked. It worked. Ladies, take note.
Oh, man. Good talks. We're going to go now.
I want to get a thank you note from your husband when you're topless in your kitchen, because you need to have a sit down talk. Yeah. Just send me a little message like, thumbs up. That's all I need.
Yes. Kaylin, you're right. I learned that from Heidi.
What?
I think Worrell said that one time. How you
Yeah.
said
I think you did learn that. Yeah.
Heidi used to do
the morning meetings. Yeah, she walked in.
Naked. What are we doing today, babe? Only listening to you if you're naked.
Yep.
That's
Amen.
Good times.
All right, we got to end this video. She has to take some clothes off. No, I'm kidding. Oh, wow. Ow.
We're leaving now.
All right, guys.
See y'all later.
Happy anniversary to my beautiful wife. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Oops.